welcome to this webinar. We're going to look at event management, the BSc in event management, and developing business leaders for a dynamic and vibrant industry. My name is Adrian Devine. I'm the course director for the BSc Leisure and Events Management. In terms of what we'll cover today then, obviously the emphasis is on the course itself, the BSc Leisure and Events Management. But before we go into the actual structure of the course and discuss the various modules, I'd like to give you some sort of background on the industry. And then we'll talk about the course. And I'll finish off the presentation by discussing job opportunities that are available within the area of leisure and events management. Without doubt, the events industry has seen rapid growth over the last 30 years. If you look at it from a UK perspective, recent figures show that it's now worth 70 billion per year in direct spend to the UK economy, which is, again, just shows you the size and scale of the industry. In total, there is 700,000 jobs within the UK, and that again may surprise you, and it highlights the importance of the industry to the UK economy. You may also ask the question, well, where do all these jobs come from? The following diagram may be able to give you shed some light on this. If you break the industry down, the events industry is actually very broad, and it can be broken down into various subheadings. So you have, for example, if you see from the chart there, you've got cultural events. So your typical music festival, your carnivals, your parades that we see in everyday life would come under the area of cultural events. Then you have business and trade events, which is also known as corporate events. So you have, and this is often the forgotten part of the events industry. There's a lot of people employed within the area of the corporate events. People organizing conferences, business meetings, exhibitions, trade shows, and that. And then you move on to the arts and entertainment. Again, huge employer. You have your scheduled concerts, you have arts exhibitions, award ceremonies, all that require organizing and event planning. And then you have, of course, maybe the one that most people are familiar with, is sports events. So you have, for example, your major leagues, championships, and then you have your one-off tours such as the ATP tour in tennis or your golf tours. And then you have your fun events and your sports festivals. Then under your political and state events, you would have events such as summits, for example, the G8 summit. You would have political congresses, you would have VIP visits, military tattoos, all of which have to be organized. And then the last category would be private events, such as weddings, parties, reunions, all of which need organizing, and people are employed to organize these and make a very good living out of organizing these type of events. So that should give you some idea of the size and scale and the breadth of the industry when we talk about leisure and events. Of course, it would be wrong for me to discuss the size and scale of the industry without mentioning COVID-19 in the news. It's had its impact, of course. It's had its impact in every aspect of life, and the leisure and events industry is no exception. We have seen the cancellation of events as large as the Olympic Games. But I think actually the future is bright for the industry, because if nothing else, it has highlighted how important the events industry and the leisure is to our lives. And it's made governments sit back and look at how important it is to the economies. Now, I'm just going to give you an example of this. If you look at the The figures here from live entertainment events on the island of Ireland, and what we mean by that there, we talk about music, arts, theatre and comedy, events that I'm sure we've all been involved in at some stage. If you look at in the capsule at the top there, over 4 million people have attended those events on the island of Ireland last year. Now that's worth 1.7 billion to the economy. That's a huge impact in terms of people going out and spending, creating jobs, and the government recognises that, and government will recognise that in the sense that because it has stopped this year, local areas will have suffered, businesses will suffer, and I think it is actually going to work out in favour once the lockdown is released. And as well as that, there are people, ourselves, we are now appreciate how important events are in our lives, events that we took for granted. We appreciate because of the fact that we couldn't get to them, we can't get to them this year. So I think the future is going to be bright, and the government is going to really put a lot of emphasis on events in the post-COVID-19 era. So with that in mind then, we need to talk a little bit about the BSc Leisure and Events Management, because ultimately what the course is about is developing business leaders for the leisure and events industry. So we're trying to equip our students with the skills and the knowledge to go out and work and be leaders in this dynamic and growth industry. Now the course itself there, you can see it's a combination of 3 different things. You have obviously have the events feeding into the events modules feeding into the course. You have leisure, a mixture of leisure and modules, and the centerpiece there is management, and that's one of the points that I think should come across very strongly, hopefully in this presentation, is how important we are providing you with opportunities to go into management. Quite a few of our modules are management related, taken from, for example, you will talk about marketing, we'll talk about human resource management, we'll talk about accounts, and those are important modules that set you up to be a manager within this exciting industry, in this growing industry. So what I'll do now then is I'll talk you through some of the modules that you could be involved in. The year is split into, the academic year is split into 2 semesters. Semester 1 and semester 2. Semester 1 runs from late September through to late January, and then semester 2 then begins in late January and goes through the end of May. And in each semester you cover 3 modules, and what I'll do then is I'll just talk you through first year of the course. First module is called the Introduction to Event Management. That's again the clues in the title. It gives you an introduction to this whole area of how to organize and plan a live event. Unlike some courses and maybe that advertise them as themselves as event management programs, throughout the course you'll see, and I'll discuss it now, the different opportunities we have for you to get involved in organising a live event. So in this particular module, Introduction to Event Management, the students in first year will have an opportunity to work with a local events promoter. That events promoter will give them a range of different events which they can then organise. In the past, we have organised a range of different events. For example, one of the events that the students have organised was Love Island Live. You can see it there. They actually the promoter, in this instance, the promoter gave the students 6 options of different types of events that they organised. The students preferred to develop, and they developed this idea themselves. It was so popular, it was sold out. They organised it in the Students' Union, and it was so popular, up to 400 people turned up on a Monday night in October in the Students' Union. And it was so popular that the following year the event promoter then put it on his schedule. So, and that came from the event that students organised. And what's the advantage of the students getting involved in a live event like that is, number one is they allow them to put the theory to practice. Don't forget, we teach the theory, we teach how to organise the event, but there's a chance then to put it into practice. The assessment for that module is actually how you get the opportunity to evaluate how you organise that event. What lessons did you learn from it? So it's always about learning and applying theory to the actual event planning process. And the students really enjoy it. And the big advantage of that module too is the students get to know each other very well, because they have to communicate, they have to work together from a very early stage in the course, and as a result, in the past, the students have all got on very well. They're a very close knit group of students. So that's the first module. The second module is called Media, Creativity and Experience. I think we all realise how important this social media and the internet has basically changed, how important it is in our life and how it has changed our lives. So this module looks more at the idea of how can you use the internet and social media and the media in general. How do you communicate through traditional media as well? For example, writing newspaper articles, promoting your event, and that's ultimately what it's about. Trying to sell yourself through this whole idea of an online platform or your traditional mediums such as newspaper articles and that. So then we have a third module called Introduction to Leisure and Tourism. Now that module, again, is the clues in the title. We have I keep saying to the students that tourism is an extremely important part of the events industry, and it's increasingly important. Cities, for example, that promote and host events, they primarily do that there for one reason, and that is tourism. Yes, there is social benefits, there's other benefits to the community, but primarily they invest huge sums of money to generate tourism. So students have, with the knowledge of tourism, will have an advantage in this module, in the sense that they will have covered it before. But for students coming in who have not covered tourism before, they learn something new, and it's a great opportunity to develop their knowledge of this of tourism, how it works, and where the events industry overlaps with the tourism industry. In the second semester, we have also an event-specific module called Food Tourism, Festivals and Events. And now the main emphasis will be on the festivals here. And again, that's one particular niche that is, we look at a number of niche markets, as you'll see as we go through the course. And festivals is certainly a niche market, and food tourism is also a niche market, and you've got food-related events. So the students again work with the local promoter, and they organise as more of a virtual event, not a live event, in this situation. And again, this idea of getting a specialism in that area. 21st Century Leisure is a module that focuses in on leisure. Now, what do we mean by leisure? Often the word leisure is associated with sport. Yes, we do cover sport within that module, but on this course, leisure is a very broad concept. It covers areas such as tourism, hospitality, shopping, gambling, and of course the events part of it would be a big part of it as well, and sport would be part of it, the media would be part of it. So it's looking at all the events industries, and more importantly, how do you manage organizations within that particular areas such as hospitality, such as in the media or in tourism. And the third module in the second semester is Management in Action. Now that module introduces you to the whole idea of the management concepts, which you're going to then develop later on in the year, later on in year 2 and 4 of the course. And as I said, management is an extremely important part. That is what's going to get you into the well-paid jobs. That's the ones that are going to allow you to move up in your career once you graduate. So that module introduces the whole area of management. Going on to the year 2 of the course, then we have in the first semester we have another specialist module called Sport and Leisure Events, and again that focuses in on the sports market, and we look at and the module looks at not so much of the organising of the events, but the impact of big major events have on the economy, on society, on the environment, and how those can be managed. Ultimately, what the idea behind the module is, for you to be a good event planner, a good event manager, you must understand the impact that your events have. So we look at the big major events such as the Olympic Games, the World Cup, and we discuss how they impact, how they were organised, the lessons learned from it. The next module there is called Business Research Methods, and that module basically introduces you to the techniques that you will require to carry out market research. Basically what we mean is, if you want to know what you want to find out what your customer wants, you need to be able to communicate with your customer and find out that information. So things like, how do you develop questionnaires, how do you develop focus groups, so that you can go out and get that information from your customer, so that then you can tailor your event for that. There's also a module then in the first semester of year 2 called Contemporary Marketing Practice. You can have the best organized event, but if you do not promote it and you do not sell that and promote that event, nobody's going to turn up. So marketing is key to the event. And of course, there's more to marketing, as you'll find in that module, than just promotion. There's, again, linking back to the market research, there's a whole range of different things. So marketing is an extremely important part of event management. In fact, quite a few of our students go into the area of marketing and promotion once they finish, because there's a big overlap between marketing and event planning. Semester 2 looks at another specialist module called Corporate Events. And again, if you go back to the second slide that I discussed, Corporate Events looks at organizing events such as business-related events and conferences, exhibitions. And again, the students organise a live event here. An example of that would be in 2016, the students organised a student conference. And then last year we had in the North Coast, we had the Open 2019. And what the students did there was they organised a series of events through the Open that promoted the local area and invited businesses into the actual Royal Portrush Golf Club. And again, it's a live event. The students organise it, they take responsibility for it, and it's a great learning experience. Second semester 2, there's also People Management module, and that again is very much dealing with people, how you manage people. As a manager, you must be able to understand and be able to manage people, and that's what that module does. And likewise, as a manager, you must also be able to work out how you balance your books. And the accounting studies module then is the last module in second year. But it's an important module, don't underestimate the importance. It's a module that some students love, some students, well, they all pass it, but some students find it tougher. But it's an extremely important one, and the one that they find very beneficial in terms of when they go out into industry. Just talking about industry then, the third year of the course, there's the opportunity to go on placement, and we have a range of different placements that the students can go on. We have links with Disney in America, we have in Florida, we have links with golf clubs and country clubs, in Canada. We have on a local level here, we work with, say, the Northwest 200, we work with Tourism Ireland. And again, there's a whole range. There's a 48-week paid placement. Students have a piece of two assessments based on the workplace that they must submit, and you get a diploma in professional practice. So it's an additional qualification, as well as once you graduate, it's a very competitive market out there. So if you have worked for a year, it just boosts your CV. And as I said, there's an opportunity to stay at home or else go on an international placement, which will be organised through the university. When you come back from placement, then you go into final year, and we have, again, first semester, you have a module called Ebusiness Strategy. And that, again, very much links into the whole area of technology and how you would use technology to promote your event. In the past, we have students working with local businesses, and the students have been involved in designing websites for the local business, and they also have the opportunity to develop an app in 1 year. So there's always a project that they get involved with and work with a range of number of local businesses. and again, they get assessed in that. Creating visitor experiences is another module that the students get involved and really enjoy. To understand what that module is, you really need to understand to succeed in the events industry, you must understand what the visitors want. And so basically what the students do in this particular module, they have to design an event. It's actually a virtual event, which they present in a conference style arena, and that is what they're assessed on. Again, it's a great experience. We get great feedback from that module. We also have a module called Contemporary Issues, and that module looks at what's current and what's affecting the industry. It looks at things like, for example, we discussed the impact of the environment. We'll look at and past the impact of Brexit. We'll look at the impact of COVID-19 on the industry. So several current, and you have 4 different lectures involved in that module, all discussing their own area of expertise. Semester 2 then and final year, the students also have another event management module where they get into groups and they have given full responsibility to organise and produce an event of their choice, and that is what they're assessed on. And again, it's very, in the past we've had students a range of different types of events, and so it's a great learning experience because they're given the reins to organise whatever they want, and as I said, they can. The learning that comes from the lessons that they actually make, the mistakes that they make during the process, and how that can be improved on for the next event. We also have what's in second semester what's known as the research paper or business plan. Students, we call the research paper, you may be familiar with the term dissertation, or we ask the students to produce a research paper. It's just a shortened version of the dissertation. Or if you're interested in setting up your own business, the students can develop a business plan. And in the past, we had students going on and developing their business plan and turning it into a live business. And then the final module then on the course would be use an elective module. You select whatever management module you want from 3, whichever management module you preferred. For example, if you like the management accounts module, if you like the marketing module, or you like the human resource management module, you have the chance then to specialize in that and bring that forward. And quite often the students, as I said, will have a fair idea what career they want to take, and that often influences their decision in terms of that elective. So that's the main modules, but I think what we need to mention too is the importance of transferable skills. Ultimately, we're developing students to go out and manage and lead the industry. So according to Busby and Green, the quote, there is a need to develop graduates with a range of skills and competencies that prepare them for the careers that they choose. So it's beyond, what can we offer the students beyond the theory? And that's an important part of our course. So what we do is we have a strong, apart from organising live events with students, we have close links with industry. For example, here we have the Belfast City Marathon, where the students will get involved in organising and delivering that event as part of one of their first year modules. We have also what I would call a special learning partnership with the Special Olympics Ireland, and this is an interesting one because this gives you again an excellent experience of organising events. The Special Olympics, for those who are not aware of it, is a sports training and competition program for children and adults with an intellectual disability. And what we have done is the students come in first year. All students will sign up and volunteer. They get involved with the Special Olympics at an operational level in year 1. In year 2, they are again expected to be involved and volunteer and involved in one event, this time at a supervisory level. Year 3, there is an opportunity to go on placement with the Special Olympics, and then in year 4, those students, there is an opportunity for students to go and work and organise one of the Special Olympics events. They organise a range of events throughout the year. The students, as part of their event management module, take on one of their events, and they have the running of it. Now, in some cases in the past, this group of 4 students who are selected to organise this event may be in charge of 300 volunteers. So it's a great opportunity it's great for the CV. But ultimately, it is about the idea behind it is to get you involved and improve your careers and career prospects. So that brings us on then to what opportunities are there in terms of leisure and events. Well, first thing, before we discuss and give you some examples of these, just to note that from our last survey, 91% of our students were in full-time work 6 months after graduate. And what's more impressive, especially for Northern Ireland here, is 75% of our students were in a professional managerial position six months after graduating. And that's a survey that was carried out, which is compulsory, and it's compulsory throughout the UK. And our figures are very impressive in terms of the course. So what careers is there? There's the example here of leisure. Going into the sports side, there is the conferencing side, the corporate side, there's the festivals, and of course there's the more broader hospitality and tourism. So I said the beauty of the course is it's broad, and you've also got those opportunity to specialise. Now what I'll do now is go through some ex-graduates on what they're doing at the minute. So here's an example of Orlaith Meenan, who's currently commercial marketing manager at Derry City Football Club. Now, if you look at her previous experience, Orlaith, when she graduated, has actually worked with Manchester United as their corporate manager at Sunderland Football Club. She's also then come back home and to Northern Ireland, and now, as I said, the commercial manager at Derry City Football Club. Claire O'Reilly, we mentioned earlier on the Belfast City Marathon. Well, Claire's an ex-student of ours, graduated a few years ago and has been managing a very successful event. Nathan Mullen is an example of a student who has went down the route of more the leisure route and is now duty manager at Antrim Borough Council. Stacey Moffat, again an interesting example. Stacey, when she graduated, actually worked at the venue and transport operations at the Commonwealth Games, and is currently working with the Irish Football Association. And again, a very wide career opportunities, and then that one example. Katie Coronan, she's events coordinator at Moral Communications, and Moral Communications specialises in the corporate events. So she'll be organising conferences, exhibitions, meetings, and that through Moral Communications. Susan Cummins is a global events coordinator at Andor Technology, a multinational company, and she coordinates the events. These big, huge companies such as BMW, Coca-Cola, and they all have events teams organising and planning events. So that's an example of that. Another example would be Lee Johnson. Now, Lee, we talked earlier on that some students specialise in some of the management or specific modules that they really liked. Well, Lee really thrived on the technology side of the events. So he's now working as an analyst at Deloitte Digital and specialised in the technology. And another example of that would be Michelle Davison. Michelle really enjoyed the accounts module, and once she's graduated, is now working as the accounts manager at a leading hotel group in Loch Lomond. So that gives you an example of the variety. And as I said, there's a lot of students going down the area of marketing and promotion as well. So huge opportunities there. Again, just in terms of, if I was coming onto a course, I'd want to know, well, what's the staff like? What does other students think of the course? Well, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but every course that's in the UK students are required to submit or complete in year 4 of the course a national student survey, and the results go online, and you can see at any course in the UK what the results of the national student survey was. For the last 2 years, we got 100% in the national student survey. Only two other courses in the university. At Ulster University, I've been able to say that we've got 100% from the National Student Survey, and that is 24 questions ranging from the modules right through to the teaching and assessment. So we're doing something right, and I'm quite proud of that for 2 years in a row we've got 100%. So the students are obviously happy on the course. If you want to find out more about the course itself, there is open days that are organised. It's on the screen there. We have ones in Jordanstown, and Magee, and of course the Korean campus. And I would recommend maybe the one on the Korean campus, in the sense that if you're interested in the course itself is on the Korean campus, that's a good opportunity to see around the campus. And the campus itself is in the North Coast. It's in a beautiful part of the country, Portrush, Port Stewart, and it's a short drive from the Giant's Causeway. There's currently over 5,000 students studying on the campus. And there's like all universities, there is opportunity to socialise and enjoy student life. And there's a brand new fitness centre, fitness top of the art gym equipment, and a range of different sports clubs to get involved with. So get in touch then if you are interested, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions now. And of course, here's details if you want to find out more information. And of course, this is on this webinar is going to be has been recorded. So if you've missed something, you want to hear it again, you can always hear it again. Or if you want to recommend it to a friend, that would be great. But I'm happy now to answer any questions.
Great, Adrian. Thanks very much for that. It was super well covered there. And just on that, on the open days there, we're still kind of working out just what shape they'll take, whether it'll be students will be able to visit the campus or they'll be done virtually. Probably just at the minute more likely virtually, but there will be opportunities to visit the campus during your time. As you go through the UCAS process, the university will organise what we call applicant events, and they'll be where we'll invite you as an applicant for a particular course. So for example, in events, you'd be invited to the campus, you'd get to look around, see what goes on, see the accommodation, but the guys from Adrian and his team there will be delivering a talk relating to the course and stuff, so it'll give you a good insight again into what your life and studying will be like up at the Korean campus. So hopefully, if it's not in September, if that can be confirmed, there will be other opportunities for you to be able to do that. Okay, so just checking there, Adrian, doesn't seem to be anything coming through at the minute. But by all means, if you know, something maybe pops into your head maybe after this that you haven't, you know, just quite thought of at the minute, you know, do feel free to get in touch with Adrian and his team there. They'll be more than happy to deal with any queries. But also, if on those different dates and times that we have those events, if it doesn't suit you, if you wanted to call up to the campus, have a chat with Adrian, have a chat with the staff and look around the campus, they'd be more than happy to facilitate that as well. Here's one. Adrian, how many applicants are accepted each year? Thanks, Chloe, for that question.
Of course, we normally have 20 to 30 students on the course.
Okay.
That number has fluctuated in the past. It's gone up as high as we've had as high as 42. Yeah. But in the main, it's normally between 20 and 30 students. That is what, from an event management perspective, to get the students involved in live events, that's probably the ideal number. So normally between that's where we probably normally about 25, 26, 27.
Yeah, places, yeah, because then it's tough getting them all involved in different events. The more you have, the more.
Not impossible, but we do. Yeah. That's normally what the intake has been in the past. So it's been
grand. Good. Okay, Chloe, hope that's answered that for you. And Adrian, just for clarity, there's no particular qualifications and stuff required either through BTECs or A-levels and stuff. They'd just be a broad range of subject areas?
Yeah, broad range. We have students, again, in the past from a wide range of areas. We draw in students from interested in tourism, students interested in hospitality. We have quite a few students come in with an interest in sport, want to specialise in events. But in general, students who have absolutely none of those backgrounds coming in, who have just a traditional A-level route and like the sound of enjoy the thought of being involved in live events and the excitement that brings. So no, there's no specific modules you should be studying at the States.
Yeah, good.